Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. We got a bunch of crazy stuff. I swear the news cycle never ends. We're going to start it off with Jimmy Kimmel doubling down on his stupidity that he said the other day. I was on Piers Morgan and he thought he had a gotcha moment, which is crazy because you know you can't get your boy beat Tatum. Ilhan Omar still out here doing fraud. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Welcome to the Officer Tatum show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life.
Make sure that you go through life and find your purpose.
And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win.
And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose for you.
This is the time to be more bold than ever before.
We're all Americans at the end of the day, and we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Officer Tatum show. It's been a crazy news cycle, as you guys can imagine. I want to first say thank you to all the people who are subscribed to the membership program. I told you we're going to try to make the best membership program that there is. Shout out to all the rookies that are coming in. Man, we're getting tons of people on the rookie level, which is the reason why I created the rookie level. So it's an entry point that's very inexpensive, so you can still be a part of the membership program. Shout out to the officers, shout out to the SWAT members, and shout out to 4 of our new deputy chiefs. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for joining the membership program. We're going to continue to make it better and better and better. And if you have missed it, make sure you go and check out a little bit of action at the shooting range. It was pretty fun. We'll do more like that in the future. Let's get to Jimmy Stewhead Kimmel. And let me just preface this. Yes, you have a right to freedom of speech. Yes, you have a right to say whatever you want to say. However, mocking a president of the United States, insinuating and normalizing his death is inappropriate. It would make sense if the president and the first lady had an issue with this. Just like any other president, if someone was mocking the death and the widowship, a potential widowing of Michelle Obama, you think people would be okay with that? It's distasteful. And let me just say this. I want to preface it before I play his clip because he doubles down like an idiot. But the truth of the matter is the normalization of violence towards this president. When you have a president that has been almost killed and there's been assassination attempts, mind you, this just happened again after he made the joke. What you're doing is creating a cycle of normalization of violence. The media continues to lie and push these scenarios of Donald Trump being Hitler and Donald Trump being a fascist. And because if Donald Trump was actually Hitler and a fascist, he would be a threat to this country. And it would make sense that people want to get rid of him. But it's all a lie. And then what happens? On this side, they're promoting the news as if it's real. And then you have comedians normalizing the murder of Donald Trump and then playing it off and saying, oh, it's just a joke. It ain't a joke, bro. We already know where you're coming from. We ain't stupid. All right, here's the dummy on his show, Doubling Down. Roll the clip.
Sometimes you wake up in the morning and the first lady puts out a statement demanding you be fired from your job. We've all been there, right? You've been there, right, Guillermo?
Yeah, sure.
What a day. As you know, they had to cancel the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington on Saturday night after a man with multiple guns and knives crashed the party and may have shot a Secret Service officer. Fortunately, the guy was wearing a bulletproof vest and is okay. They're not sure exactly what happened, but they got the guy. He was charged today. No one was hurt, thank goodness. A lot of people were shaken up on a night that is supposed to be lighthearted. The White House Correspondents' Dinner, if you don't know, it used to be an annual event before Trump showed up. But every year they'd have a comedian roast the room. The president, the vice president, members of the press, everybody got roasted. I did it once. I hosted it. It was a lot of fun. But this year, they said, no comedian. We're bringing in a mentalist instead. So on Thursday, 3 days before the event, in order to keep that cherished tradition alive, I did my own version of the Correspondents' Dinner on my show. I put on a tuxedo. We pretended we had an audience of luminaries. We used old footage of the Trumps, of Pete Hegseth, J.D. Vance, Kid Rock, Vanilla Ice, all the members of his cabinet. And we made it seem like they were all together in a room. We had a little roast. Again, this was Thursday, and there was no big reaction to it until this morning when I greeted the day facing yet another Twitter vomit storm. And a call to fire me from our First Lady, Melania Trump, saying I should be fired because of a joke I made, again, 5 nights ago. It was a pretend roast. I said, our First Lady Melania is here. Look at her, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow, which...
All right, time out.
Obviously...
I'll let him finish. But first and foremost, why didn't he articulate who the person was that did the potential shooting and stabbing and trying to assassinate Trump? Why don't he make a reference or a joke about that guy? This is a time. This is another show. He got the fake thing up there where they say laugh when he tell these old weak jokes that they script. This is a time to make fun of the guy who did it. I mean, at least in this segment, I don't hear him making fun of him. Why? Because he's a leftist nut job that thinks on the same wavelength as he's thinking. And then he goes on to say, the joke was, you look like a glow of an expected widow. What does that mean? How is that funny? What is the thought process behind a person being widowed as a joke? There's no capacity whatsoever that a person's husband dying and her living her life alone is funny. There's no lead up. What is the funny part of that? It don't exist. It's this fool leveraging his comedic status to say all these crazy stuff, and then when he get busted on it, he go, "Oh, it's just a joke." We know what you're doing, bruh. Let him finish.
Was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. It was a very light roast joke about the fact that he's almost 80 and she's younger than I am. It was not, by any stretch of the definition, a call to assassination, and they know that. I've been very vocal for many years speaking out against gun violence in particular, but I understand that the First Lady had a stressful experience over the weekend, and probably every weekend is pretty stressful in that house. And also, I agree that hateful and violent rhetoric is something we should reject. I do, and I think a great place to start to dial that back would be to have a conversation with your husband about it, because...
Do you know how ridiculous that claim is? It's like you say things, so I'm going to say things too to you. You say things that I don't like, so we're going to kill you, and it's fine because you said something on Twitter or on X or on True Social. So people should be able to kill you because you said mean things. Donald Trump has never called for the killing of somebody. Where is that? Where does Donald Trump make fun of people being widowed? You never see that kind of stuff. But it also, as an adult, as a grown-up, as a mature person, you don't go, because you're a dummy, I'm okay to be a dummy. But I'm mad at you for being a dummy, but I can be a dummy and I get a pass because you're a dummy. No, that's not how it works. Just because people threaten me online, in my DMs, don't mean I have open season to just threaten everybody I want because people threaten me. I'm a mature man, so I don't need to threaten people. Okay, let him finish. He had more to say.
I also should point out, Donald Trump is allowed to say whatever he wants to say, as are you, and as am I, as are all of us, because under the First Amendment, we have, as Americans, a right to free speech. But with that said, I am sorry that you and the president and everyone in that room on Saturday went through that. I really am. Just because no one got killed doesn't mean it wasn't traumatic and scary. And we should come together and be best. We really should. But if you want us to believe that a joke I made 3 days before this dinner had any effect on anything that happened, well, then maybe someone should look into this psychic lady, too.
This speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
You know what? You know who's going to be furious when she hears that? White House Press Secretary Carolyn Levitt who will be furious.
You know, it's a big difference between saying shots will be fired, meaning people are going to be slinging jokes at each other. There's going to be contention. That's a difference between saying somebody's going to be widowed. How do we not see the difference between that? There's going to be fireworks tonight. There's going to be shots fired, meaning that people are going to joke with each other. That's normal. They're all jokes. You're saying she looks like an expected widow, after a president has been almost killed multiple times through assassins, and even that night that you're joking about, somebody tried to kill him. What are we saying here? All right, here go a little bit of a news reporting about the FCC potentially challenging, which I think is going to be a nothing burger. They love to do this stuff, but they're never going to do anything about it because the FCC should be taking down almost every news network just for lying. Like, you could say Donald Trump is a dirtbag. You say whatever you want to say. But when you lie and say, and you know what they do, these news outlets, what they do is that they don't say Trump is Hitler. They bring people on that say Trump is Hitler every day. And then they don't chastise the people. They don't push back on the people. They go, oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, he is doing that. And you're giving tacit approval to these outrageous claims. They should lose their license. How is that? Anybody, Fox News, if Fox News is lying about somebody, creating chaos around that person, literally posting false articles all the time, having to redact and losing in lawsuits, the FCC should look at that. Here's just a quick report about the potential of the FCC looking into what Jimmy Kimmel said and his network wrote a clip.
We've got some breaking news on the fight between the Trump administration and Jimmy Kimmel. The FCC is preparing to challenge the licenses of ABC affiliate stations. And a source tells CNN the process will begin as early as this afternoon. The licenses in question are not up for renewal for years, but the FCC says it can review them earlier. So far, ABC has stuck by Jimmy Kimmel after President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump demanded he be fired over a joke he told last week about Melania.
Enough. It's funny that people act as if Jimmy Kimmel works for the government. Can you imagine that? Like, the call for the firing is to draw attention to the rhetoric that this guy is spewing and the disrespect for the First Lady of the United States of America, saying she's glorifying her being widowed and trying to act like it's funny and it's a joke, but there's no contextual reality to that being joke-worthy. And instead of the man being a reasonable, respectable man and saying, look, you know, it was a joke and it was in bad taste now that this happened, he doubles down. He don't even apologize. He don't even say it could be perceived as insensitive. He lies. And look at what people are saying on CNN. Roll the clip.
It's amazing that we sit at this table and everything is Donald Trump's fault. And when you call and put up a picture of the First Lady and you laugh about her being a widow and her husband being killed who's already been shot, that somehow that is Donald Trump's fault and he's mean to Jimmy Kimmel and wants Jimmy Kimmel gone. I don't know who you talked to the White House. I'm around the White House. I promise you a lot more than you are. The president has not talked about this at all.
Well, I also...
At all. Like,
sure.
It's on the list of things he gives you know what about, it's down here. But when you go on TV...
The thing that he sent a Truth Social post about this?
After it was said, you can respond. And by the way, if this was a joke, Jimmy Kimmel could have immediately been a comedian and said, hey, in light of what happened tonight, that was a joke. I apologize for it. I'm sorry. Because a real comedian would say, but he didn't. And you want to no, you would do it immediately. At Twitter, I can tweet right now on your show.
But hold on. I think the
he
question
he knows he's not going to get fired, but he wanted her to be a widow.
Do you think he was referring to Donald Trump being murdered, or do you think that he was referring to a 56-year-old woman who is married to an 80-something-year-old man?
I think when you've been shot at 3 times.
Here's the thing that's confusing to me about the brains of these dummies is that, well, you could say he said a joke meaning that he's much older than her, but he also could make a joke about her getting killed, or him getting killed and her being a widow. Why can't you guys consider both? Y'all only take one side of it. It does not appear, in light of all the other things that Jimmy Kimmel has said and done, that he's not being derogatory or evil towards President Donald Trump. Let me give you an example. Here's a flashback of them, Jimmy Kimmel staging a prison scenario with Donald Trump getting stabbed to death. Roll the clip.
Okay, so now let's pretend this is his first day of prison, okay? And you guys can come in the area. Hey, everybody, it's me, Donald Trump.
They're gonna roll with me. I got the knife. Don't talk to the police.
Okay, I can't talk to you anymore. Give me a kiss.
No, get away. Grab my pepper spray.
Ah!
We're gonna pull up on this guy.
I love your flesh-colored underwear.
That would not be the right thing to say to someone.
And what are you doing over here?
Kicking your ass.
Hey,
I told you I would protect him.
Hey, what's going on over here?
Hey, get down. Everyone get down.
Get down on the floor, inmate.
Yeah, but I can't get back up.
Donald.
All right, well, what did we learn here?
You got to find someone to protect you, right?
I was going
Now
to say
think
we
about this
wasted
for
a
a
lot.
minute. I think they think we stupid, right? I know how these things work. I don't know if God gave me some supernatural wisdom or I just have common sense. You know they had the scenario where the guy had the knife, right? And Donald Trump is in the prison system. He inevitably got beat up by somebody. But you know they wanted to make the knife stab the president. That's what they wanted to do. But you know how just distasteful that would be on TV? So they pivoted. They had a guy in a prison with a knife. At first, he was against Donald Trump, in my opinion. And then they played the scenario up a little different because they know they can't. They probably did this 3 times and recorded it. One scenario was Trump getting stabbed to death. I mean, you cannot tell me that you go on TV every day and bash Donald Trump. You show zero sympathy for him, people trying to kill him, and then you tell a joke. All right, I'm done with the Jimmy Kimmel segment. That dude is a nut job, and I hope that everybody would understand that. I want to give a quick shout out to Synergy. If you're looking for an energy drink that's sustainable or gives you sustainable energy, I drink it every single day, and you want clean, pure energy. One problem that people face is that they over-caffeinate. You cannot drink drinks that have 200 milligrams of caffeine. You just can't do it. It's not sustainable. It's not good for you over time. And obviously research has laid that out. So we created an energy drink that's clean, that's natural, with 75 milligrams of caffeine. So you have just enough to get an energy boost and enough for sustainable brain function and energy. And then also you need to go to sleep at some point. The biggest problem in society today with energy is not taking more energy drinks. It is you getting quality sleep. And when you get quality sleep, you wake up with renewed energy. And that's why we have the day and the night cycle that you take 24 hours a day of coverage of energy. You get good sleep, you wake up with energy, you take good, sustainable, clean energy, and you do that for a week and your life will change or your money is back. Or I'll give you your money back. All right. Make sure you hit the links or whatever. You can pause it, scan the QR code, synergylife.com, synergylife.com. All right. Your boy, Piers Morgan, tried to get a gotcha moment. And now I'll say this. I respect Piers Morgan. He's just running a show, right? So he can't kiss my butt every time I come on the show. So he's got to find a way to try to get at me. But it don't happen, and it cannot happen because I don't say things that I don't mean, and I don't say things I haven't evaluated first. I don't just get on TV and try to get clicks and say things that are inflammatory because it'll make you like me. I say things based on truth, and whether you like it or not, depends on whether you can follow me if you like it, and you don't have to follow me if you don't like it. I don't change who I am. The people that like me will follow me. So here's a quick excerpt from a little bit of what I, kind of my presence on the show, a little bit of my statements, and then I'll show you the gotcha moment. And the 2 stew heads in the middle are like, hey, he got you. It wasn't the flex they thought it was. Wait till you see it. Roll the clip.
White House Correspondents' Dinner. You can understand her rage to describe her as having the glow of an expectant widow when someone has launched an assassination attempt. Seems
Pause
particularly.
When these things are being said, I want you to look at the dumb blonde in the middle, fake blonde. She probably bleached her hair, and she is probably one of the dumbest, most disingenuous people on the internet. And the freaking person that tried to kill Trump retweeted her. I wonder why. And then in a minute, she's going to talk about her living arrangements and her relationship arrangements, and I'm not surprised. All right, roll the clip.
Tasteless. What's your view of it?
Pierce, this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, these people are crazy and deranged. They push this stuff every day on television, in their articles, and you wonder why people are out here trying to kill President Donald Trump. I put my life on it that he would never say that about any other president, or his career would be over. Imagine him saying it about Michelle Obama, that she's looking like an expected widow. That's the most deranged thing that I ever heard in my life. And it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. It's distasteful and it's inappropriate to say, and it's disrespectful to the country. And I don't like Democrats not one bit. But if anybody were to say that, I don't care if you're Republican or not, against a Democrat president, you are wrong and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Now, how is that not facts? But the stew heads in the middle don't agree with that. You just don't do that to the president and the first lady. I don't care if you like them or not. I can't stand Barack Obama and that Bigfoot woman he married to. And she trash. To be quite honest, Obama would have done better without her. That woman is a dead weight to Barack Obama. to be honest, you know, some men in life, they marry the wrong women. I'm telling you, they marry a stewhead, which means that they would have been much better of a man. Their expression of who they really are would be exacerbated, but they got a dumb woman at home giving them bad advice. Barack Obama got swag. Barack Obama is cool. He wasn't a great president, but the dumb, slew-footed Bigfoot that he got as a wife on podcast acting like she the prize. Ma'am, nobody would even know you if you weren't married to Barack Obama. And to be honest, it don't look like he really happy with her anyway, to be honest. He's just sticking around because it's cheaper to keep her. I don't know if y'all heard that song before. It's cheaper to keep her. But that slew-footed monster, I don't want to hear nobody say nothing about her. Because you go and you bash Melania and them, somebody say something about Michelle Obama, y'all all crying. Come on, roll the clip.
And Brandon, I have to say, you know, when Ilhan Omar was sprayed at a
Here's the
recent
gotcha
event
moment.
with an unknown substance, you said this. Let's take a look.
The bottom line is that I'm looking at this impartially. I don't know what anybody said. I saw the video, and it does not look consistent with someone trying to assault another person, which means I have never in my life seen a person get up, spray something out of syringe at someone's chest. It happened to be nothing inert. And then she comes after him. You didn't see her back away from him. You didn't see her shy away from him. You didn't see any of that
Brandon,
nature.
you would
and
say,
the guy didn't even resist.
Brandon, you would say the complete opposite if that was a Republican congressman.
That's not true.
So that debate we had then, Brandon, I do think.
Hang on. Officer down.
Hang on.
And look at that. Hold on. And look at that closeted gay and that single mother over there. Don't think y'all. I got you. You ain't got. It ain't the flex you talking about. It ain't the flex you think it is. Watch me school them on this topic, and then I'm going to expand upon what I'm saying because Piers didn't let me finish. Roll the clip,
please. Brandon, the point I would make is, as I said then, if it was the other way around, you would say the opposite, and you have. But this happens from everybody. I get loads of people.
No, Piers. Let's talk about it. Where have you seen me say anything to the contrary that about a Republican or not? You never heard it. Clearly it was fake. Do we not know that was fake? He did not squeeze any type of chemical agent on her. Did he or did he not? It was fake. I knew it was fake when I saw it. What do you mean? You said, when did I know it?
Fake.
Because you can see that it's fake. Listen, I have done investigations. Let me explain. I'll let you talk, young lady. Hold on a second. I have done investigations so many times in my career. I've investigated violent crimes. I've looked at surveillance videos. I've done this media stuff for a very long time. When I watch her mannerisms and behavior, I can tell that it's inconsistent with somebody that's being sprayed by a chemical agent, which she don't know if it's dangerous or not. No one would get sprayed by something and then try to attack the attacker.
But here's my point.
What do we find out, Piers? What do we find out, Piers? What do we find out? I was correct,
Brandon.
I was correct.
Brandon, here's my point. Here's my point.
We didn't find that out. That's
your natural reaction.
Wait a minute. He admitted that it was not. It was like sugar water.
Fine, she didn't know what it was.
Brandon, you're implying to the audience that it was proven that it was staged. No, it was proven that there was no chemical in there. It was not a staged event. You may believe that, but there's no evidence that was a staged event. That's all I'm saying.
Use your common sense. Why would a guy stand up and commit a felony to put sugar water on somebody?
Because people are often mentally ill.
What is sugar water going to do? Mark Lamar Hill, what is sugar water going to do?
I'm answering you. I'm answering you. I have been attacked at events with people who had powder substances. The powder turned out not to be a chemical. I can assure you I didn't stage it. Sometimes people who are not well do things. Sometimes people do things to intimidate you. Sometimes people do things to create a distraction, as you know, as a security person or as a law enforcement officer who has done security. I'm telling you that just because someone doesn't have a chemical agent with them doesn't mean that the person who was the victim staged it. That's all I'm saying.
It does not. You don't have any evidence that it wasn't staged. I'm giving my perspective based on. Hold on, let me finish. I'm giving my perspective based on what I observed.
You said it was proven.
I didn't just make up.
Right, but you said it was proven that it was staged.
I said it was proven that it was staged. I said it was proven that it was sugar water and it wasn't a chemical agent. I said it was proven that it was sugar water, it wasn't a chemical agent, which aligns with what I'm observing when it happened to her.
If it was another scenario, because I don't give a flying flip if it's a Republican or a Democrat. If the scenario looked fake, it looked fake. What are we talking about?
A lot of people think Butler looks fake.
Time out. All right, here's a few things. The dumb broad in the middle says, a lot of people think Butler was fake. Y'all seen Ilhan Omar. She's looking at the guy in the audience. She's going back and forth. He gets up, and he squirts her with something. He went through the process of putting something in a syringe that was sugar water. And then I'm telling you, I'm not, we're not stupid. You can tell when people faking stuff. That man spray you with something. He's in the audience. You don't know who he is. He attacks you. And she don't even check to be like, what did he just spray on me? She did this. Like she gonna fight him. She 3 foot tall, 100 pounds with a weight vest on, and she gonna fight this guy. And this guy's unobstructed. Nobody was between her and him, and he sprays her with something and waits to get arrested. He literally leans into the arrest. That looks fake. I saw Mark Lamont Hill get attacked. He was genuinely afraid. Mark Lamont Hill almost peed his pants when he got attacked. That looked real. It looked genuine. And the dumb broad in the middle, and I'm not shocked why she's a single mom, the dumb broad in the middle is saying, people think Butler was What deductive reasoning do you have to think Butler was fake? The guy had a gun, set up on a rooftop, took shots, killed somebody. What do you think? And then you think that he killed people and he said, Donald Trump, I'm going to hit him right in the ear with an AR-15 from 200 yards away with no optic on it. I'm going to hit him right in the ear. What part of that sounds fake to you in comparison to Ilhan Omar? These people are completely stew heads. Oh, it looked like the thing the other night was fake. The guy had a manifesto that he sent his family. He checked into the hotel, described the lack of security. He had guns, knives, and all kind of stuff. He rushed the checkpoint, shot somebody. And the only thing, because it was 100 agents there, that's the only reason he didn't get to the lobby. Every methodical step that he took was consistent with somebody that needed to breach the checkpoint to get to Donald Trump. How does that sound staged? Versus Ilhan Omar's situation. These people are stupid. Roll the clip.
Let me say something. What we're talking about is that in the moment, Ilhan Omar...
Watch this. He's going to be speechless. And all of them going to be speechless. You just watch. Roll it.
I did not know it was fake. Clearly, it was a scary incident involving a
How do you know that Ilhan Omar... They have not concluded the investigation into what did Ilhan Omar know.
So there you go. So you're basically saying it's
staged.
staged. Here's my point, Brandon.
Here's my point. That's what I believe it is.
Well, here's my point. Here's my point. We've all got to move away. Here's my point. We've got to move past a stage where we view every attack on a politician as
No one believes every attack on a politician. Right? I didn't think Pelosi was staged. I didn't think the Pelosi attack was staged. If it looks like it's staged, then I'm going to say this is what it looked like. And I gave an articulable reason why. Her behavior, her mannerisms, the fact that he thinks sugar water.
All right, but you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that about a Republican politician.
Where's your evidence that I would have never done that?
I just don't
Show
think,
me an example.
I trust the same gut instinct that you trust yourself.
You don't have any evidence, though. You don't have any evidence to say that I would not hold people accountable if they were Republicans and they fake something.
Oh, do you concede that people have rights to question Butler?
Time out. Where's the evidence? I didn't think Pelosi was fake. I think a lot of people thought it was a lover quarrel. But nobody thought it was fake. He got hit in the head with a hammer, dude, on camera. When the cop got there, he banged him in the head, almost killed him. He was in the hospital. Nobody thought that was fake. But when you see Jussie Smollett go out and fake a hate crime, everybody knew that was fake. And you got to be stupid to think that what happened to Jussie Smollett was real. Bubba Wallace, he saw a noose in NASCAR. Everybody knew that was fake. So when Ilhan Omar does a fake stunt, everybody can see it as fake. Piers Morgan has no evidence. Nobody has any evidence that there was a situation that happened with a Republican, and majority of the people have articulable reasons why they think it's fake. And I go, no, it ain't fake because it's a Republican. No evidence. Piers just say, I feel like. That's what he said. I just feel like you wouldn't. Well, you don't have no evidence that I wouldn't do that.
I just gave a reason. I didn't think Nancy Pelosi was fake, and that was a Democrat. I didn't think Mark Lamont Hill was fake. I saw the wuss in his eyes when that dude attacked him. I didn't think that was fake. That wasn't a gotcha moment. You thought it was. Finish the clip.
I think we should agree.
What?
I think we should
have a right to
agree
question Butler?
I think we should. Let me make my point. We should
Okay.
agree.
All right.
We should agree.
He just goes on to say we should agree that nobody should think that stuff is fake. You can't think it's fake if it looks fake. Crazy. All right. Here's just. I want to play the clip of Mark Lamont Hill just to show you how stupid and deranged he is, and then I'm gonna show a clip of that single mama on there. And nothing against the real single mamas that's out there grinding and taking care of your business, but it's a bunch of dirtbag ones out there, and that girl is one of them. And I'm not surprised. I literally, when she say, I'm a mother of two, and she said, a single mother too. I said, just the fact that she said single mother too tell you everything you need to know. Ain't nobody need to know you a single mother. You act like you dudes ain't running through your house. Just cause you ain't in a relationship don't mean you ain't got guys around. I bet you dudes are in a house, got her in the 3-point stands while our kids taking a nap. She looked like that type of woman. Put it up, put something on something. Show your phone, girl, and see what them DMs you getting and text messages you getting. Come on, I bet $1,000 dudes that came through the crib. All right, that's what I thought. All right, come on.
First, to the Jimmy Kimmel point, I was one of the people that thought the joke was funny. I like dark humor. If that joke had been made after the shooting, I think it would be unacceptable. I think it would be in bad taste, and I would understand why Melania Trump would be calling for Jimmy Kimmel's head or for his job, to be specific.
But Mark, it is after shooting.
How many more shootings do we need?
It's after
Mark?
two other.
How many more shootings do we
after a
want?
shooting attempt on his life.
How many more dead conservatives
He almost got killed.
Okay.
Now, I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy from Mark Lamont Hill. He go, if it was after shooting, it'll be distasteful. Well, somebody did already shoot Trump. And people have tried to kill him multiple times. Like, that's why the joke didn't land. Mark Lamont Hill is a hypocrite. All right, put the dummy on there real quick. I want to play it. She gonna try to fake cry. She'll try to fake cry to put a little anecdotal scenario in there and fake cry. Roll the clip.
Yes, I just wanted to say a couple of things. Donald Trump has pardoned and or commuted the sentences of 1,600 plus people who attacked our Capitol on January 6th. They're looking to vacate the criminal convictions of the people who
people who attacked it. No, they did. 99.9% of the people in there walking around. Not one politician got hurt. Not one person tried to hurt a politician when they were in the Capitol building. Not one police officer got attacked and or hurt in the Capitol building. But they attacked our Capitol, standing right next to Capitol Police. Capitol Police stood aside to let Ashley Babbitt climb over the thing. And then a dummy shot her in the neck. He should have went to jail over that. All right, let the fool finish. Roll it.
Coordinated that attack. But as a personal anecdotal story here, Donald Trump made jokes about Paul Pelosi's attack. Donald Trump has repeatedly made jokes about Paul Pelosi's attack.
Here you go.
I'm a mom of two. I'm a single mom of two. About a couple of months after Paul Pelosi's attack, in conjunction with one of Donald Trump's jokes, I got a series of text messages with pictures of my home. And then in short order, I got a phone call from someone who sounded like they were in the car and said to me, "We know you're home. We know your kids are home. We are going to Paul Pelosi you next." That was on the heels of a joke that Donald Trump had made about Paul Pelosi. So please spare me.
All right, time out. A joke that Donald Trump made about Paul Pelosi. He didn't make a joke insinuating that he should be killed, that he's going to be killed, or any of that stuff. And how does Paul Pelosi associate with you? Nobody. We're talking about the president and the first lady. We're not talking about some Instagram single mother that's out here trying to play victim. Somebody called me on the phone. Like this is the thing that I question. I'm not saying that it didn't happen, but I question what she said. Because a lot of times these people create scenarios to play victim in order for them to win an argument. Because she's claiming that somebody called on the phone. Like, you're saying somebody randomly got your phone number and called you while you were at home with your kids by yourself, randomly. And you answered and you talked to them. And you talked to them enough where you allegedly got afraid. She claims she made a report. I would like to see the report. If you made a report, I'll shut up. But did you make a report? Did this really happen? Did they call you blocked? Or did they call you with a phone number? What did they say to you? Give me the full story, not just the one that make you sound like a victim. What else they say to you? I'm going to Paul Pelosi you next time. And they sound like they were in a car. You were listening to them. You were on the phone talking to them that long where you could tell they're in the car and they said that to you. These people sometimes they be making up stuff. All right, that's enough. I just knew she was a single mother. I just knew she was. And nothing to get, like I say, some of y'all be getting mad about being a single mother. If you're a good one, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about these ones, they have a lifestyle of gloating at the fact that they're abusing their children by refusing to let the dad in their lives. I'm talking about them kind. Not the ones that they're doing it because they got to do it. And most of the time, the women that are single mothers that's out here grinding and doing the right thing and raising kids to the best of their ability, they don't lead with, I'm a single mother of 2. It's these leftist dummies that think that's a badge of honor. Yes, my kids only got one parent, and they got to live with me, and I'm probably a fool, and I'm taking them through the dirt. When they can go with their daddy, they go over daddy's house right now. But no, I want to struggle. I want to struggle with them. So I can say, I'm a single mom, and I'm a struggling single mom, and I do it all by myself. Daddy say, hey, can they come by this weekend? No, it's my weekend. Because I'm a struggling single mother. Daddy be doing well in life. Daddy got it all together. And she in a 1-bedroom struggling with 3 kids, 2 kids, but she won't let them go be with the daddy. No, they need to struggle with me. And for those of you who act like that, you know you are. But the good ones that take care of their kids, good mothers, I salute you. Pat on the back. You deserve it. I'd help you if I can. All right, let's get to the next clip here. But I want to talk about my favorite, Verdict Bourbon. You got to be 21. Drink responsibly. Don't waste your time if you're not 21. Don't waste your time if you're being a fool. Don't even go drink somebody else's stuff. But the Verdict Bourbon, go look at the reviews. All 5-star. Well, I think 99% of them are 5-star reviews, and people are raving about how great this is. Every restaurant we go do a tasting in, they order it immediately. That's because it's that good. Guilty, 6-year, clean, smooth, tons of flavor. You can't find anything else like that. Not Guilty has a hint of brown sugar. It's good. You can do it neat. You can do it in the old-fashioned without the simple syrup. You name it, you got it. Tons of restaurants on the website that we're going to put on there so you know where to get them at the restaurants. You can order it online right here. We'll ship it to you. verdictbourbon.com. All right, let's get to the Leering Center. Finally, the government they've been doing fraud for, I don't know, decades. I grew up in the hood. I know who was selling dope. Everybody know who's selling dope. Everybody know who's boosting. Bringing them polo shirts that they stole from dealers, giving to you at $20 a shirt. Fake Jordans, real Jordans, selling to you out the trunk of the car. Come to the house with Social Security numbers on there, credit card numbers on there, selling credit card numbers. Everybody knew it was happening. Everybody knew who was doing it. And you can't tell me the government don't know people doing it. All you got to do is ask somebody. You got informants. I was a cop. We know we got informants. How they don't have informants? When you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars worth of fraud, billions of dollars worth of fraud, and you don't have an informant that's exposing this? No, because they don't want to. They want to get as many illegals and these people that's dependent on the government and giving them a better lifestyle, right? Allowing them to take money from the government and do fraud and be millionaires, and so they can get their vote. That's what they do. Here is them finally doing some justice to the Leering Center. Roll the clip.
Breaking just moments ago now, large-scale raids targeting federal fraud currently underway. Federal agents seen leaving the Quality Learning Center. And Brooke Taylor has more on that and what they're looking for. Brooke, good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Yeah, we have had a photographer there at the daycare since this morning, capturing video of those federal agents just going in and out of the building, collecting evidence as part of the DOJ's fraud investigation in Minnesota. Take a look at this video here. Sources tell Fox that federal agents are raiding about 22 businesses across Minneapolis this morning. And sources say many of them are tied to Somali-owned operations. All of this comes after that viral YouTube video from Nick Shirley. It was back in December. In that video, he visited different child care centers, and you'll remember they were either closed or there were just no children inside, despite receiving state child care funding. Now, the location that you're looking at right now, it's the Quality Learning Center. This is the daycare. It went viral. It blew up on social media because of a sign outside with learning that was literally misspelled. The education secretary at the time claimed that the daycare received $1.9 million while, quote, masquerading as a daycare. And then shortly after that, the Trump administration announced it was freezing child care funding to Minnesota and calling for a full audit of certain daycare centers. And just checking my emails now, it looks like we got a statement from DHS sharing, quote, Homeland Security investigations in cooperation with our law enforcement partners executed criminal search warrants in Minneapolis relating to the rampant fraud of U.S. taxpayers' dollars. And as you could see there, federal agents still outside one of those daycare centers where they have been the last few hours. And all of this comes as Governor Tim Walz is expected to deliver his State of the State address tonight. And it's obviously comes with a lot of questions over.
Let me say this. People may not like it, but it's kind of a little too late. Y'all done gave these fools a couple months to clean up their house and figure it out before they get raided. I mean, I don't understand. Like, it should have been raided before Nick Shirley showed up. But Nick Shirley went there months ago. And so now they know they're on the radar. And so now they can clean their books up. They can delete stuff. They can burn stuff. They can start applying for stuff and getting things lined up. And you come there and ain't nothing left. Y'all a month, 3 months too late. That's why ain't nothing gonna really happen. Y'all gotta raid them while they're in the middle of the operation, not 3 months after they got exposed and they shutting down stuff. I'm just throwing it out there. Here's another one of these Somalian idiots. Roll the clip.
We're talking about Abdimajid Mohammed Nur. He's going to spend the next 10 years, though, in federal lockup after investigators say he took part in a $48 million COVID-19 pandemic scam. So this was part of a meal fraud scam, Trace. They spent hundreds of millions of dollars that were meant to feed hungry American kids on a lot of different things. They took stacks and stacks of cash like you're looking at here. They were blown on luxury cars. Let's buy an Audi. Let's buy a waterfront property out in Minnesota. And if you have time, let's go to a private villa out in the Maldives. That would be nice. Well, that's what they did, according to prosecutors. They showed these video clips, Trace, of the fraudsters popping bottles of champagne out on that luxury getaway. Police say the men were happy to be cashing in. They were texting each other, "You're going to be the richest 25-year-old, God willing." What is being called the largest fraud scam in history? It happened on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's watch. Today, the Democrat who ran for vice president launched a fraud prevention program. Critics say that's a little too late. The White House has slammed him for failing not just his state of Minnesota, but the country. He pushed back.
You can't have one without the other. Any amount of fraud is too much. That's why over the last several years, we've made many systematic changes to state government to both detect fraud and hold those accountable after it happened. Year after year, we brought new ideas to the legislature to stay ahead of the evolving tactics, and they are evolving.
Okay, so it doesn't stop there, though. Prosecutors.
Very simple tactics. They act like this is rocket science. You apply for a federal loan, lie about it, and make a lot of money. That's like 2 + 2 is 4. This is not some complex Ponzi scheme involving hundreds of thousands of people who are doing it. No, it's one guy apply for a loan, and then y'all not even following up that right there. Why do they got Bentleys out front of a learning center? These are Somalian refugees. How all of a sudden they popping bottles and doing that should be on your radar. Wait a minute. This person went from a refugee to a multimillionaire. Anybody that gets $48 million from the government should be monitored. I mean, at least the funding. And when I say monitored, meaning if I go right now and I go, hey, man, it's COVID. My company is going to fall apart. I'm applying for $48 million. The government should be like, how long has this guy been in business? Has he ever really made money like this before? Okay, let's just monitor and see if he go to the Maldives or something. Let's see if all of a sudden his lifestyle changes. I think that's fair for the government to monitor you if you're using the government money. I approve if you're using my taxpayer dollar for them to monitor what you're doing. You at least got to show bank records. But they don't do none of this. We're doing innovative strategies to find ways to capture fraud. These people are doing Stone Age fraud. This ain't even complex, bro. This ain't even shell companies and none of that. These people are literally applying for a $48 million loan, and then they driving fancy cars right in your face. Come on, bro. Let's go to Ilhan Omar. That dumb stew head wrap, blanket head, a nappy scalp, dry elbow, sorry, slew-footed, big toe having, gangrene smelling. I mean, how this woman is still in Congress, like, the fact she hate America is enough for me. But look at the winery stuff she did. Bro, you gotta go to jail over this. Roll the clip.
Breaking news, Ilhan Omar's husband's wine company has been legally dissolved. You are looking at the state of California certificate of cancellation for Est Crew. That is the wine company owned in part by Tim Wynette, the Minnesota Congresswoman's spouse. Now, why would Wynette and his business partner dissolve their wine business, especially in light of this fact? The Wall Street Journal writing, quote, a 2025 email between Omar's husband and his accountant states that the venture capital management firm is valued at $7.9 million and the winery at $1.5 million. He owns roughly a third of both businesses, according to tax documents included with the lawyer's letter. But why was the winery valued so high in the first place? According to the New York Post, Est Crew had all kinds of problems. By 2023, winemakers said they were not being paid, and investors sued. And Est Crew had only $650 by 2024. Now, overall, the Post says Est Crew only sold a handful of wines between 2020 and 2023. Now, look at this. Among the wines sold by Omar's husband was this beautifully labeled Malbec. You see a devious-looking woman. There's a red devil over her right shoulder. Interestingly, the Malbec is called, quote, the devil's lie. What a name. Est Crew also sold a Cabernet Sauvignon called Blockchain, a red blend called Overt, described in reviews as flimsy and tart. But Omar's husband's wine venture appears to have come to an end. And a supposed end to, quote, the devil's lie Malbec comes just days after we learned that Ilhan Omar accidentally thought she was a multimillionaire. Funny how that happens. Remember this from last week? Omar amended her financial disclosure form, which once showed her husband's businesses valued between $6 million and $30 million, blaming an accounting error. And Omar now values his businesses between $18,000 and $95,000, a change that came after her finances came under investigation. But Tom Homan says, stay tuned.
The whole file is being reviewed. A lot of smart people are on it. Stay tuned.
Now, go back to that graphic of blanket head, the graphic of the money. I want y'all to look at this real quick. Don't look past how drastic this is. Now, you have to do a financial disclosure, which I'm assuming that you tell what your net worth is. It's not like they calculate it and they make an assumption. Like, you have to disclose what you think roughly your net worth is. Why would she put $6 to $30 million on a company that wasn't even worth none of that, and her husband only owned 3%? That to me tells me that they had endeavors to do crazy fraud. That means that what they were doing, and this is just my opinion, I don't have any evidence of it, but my opinion is they wanted to brief or put out a smaller number than the fraud that they were getting ready to do. So it'll keep you down here at 6 to 30 million, and they trying to do a couple $100 million fraud. So you say, oh, it's only 6 to 30 million, and then when they come to find out it's worth $200-300 million, and they doing some fraud, they disclose 30 million, so to keep you right here focused on this number. There's no way in the world, dude. I probably get an assault charge if somebody running my finances accidentally thought I was worth $30 million. And I'm not even worth 100,000. Like, bruh, if it was 15 million to 20 million, 10 to 30 million, maybe. You're talking less than $100,000 of worth, and you put 30 million on your thing. This her getting caught in the hallway looking stupid. Roll the clip.
Hi, Congresswoman Omar. You were just talking about how Trump's economy has failed the American people, but I think the American people really want to know how you went from a negative 65,000 before coming into Congress to over $30 million in just 7 years.
My disclosure is public now.
Yeah, it is. And so a lot of people now are looking into that and finding Est Crew Winery, a winery that doesn't actually seem to exist. Is that a real winery, or?
Do you all actually look at and read things, or do you just ask silly questions?
Well, it's listed in the financial disclosure, so can you explain it? Because we have a lot of questions about it, and things just aren't adding up. There's no real phone number. There's no real location.
Why did you want to buy some wine?
Probably not from you, to be honest. Recently stated that the American people should be afraid of the white man. They should be fearful of the white man.
I never said that.
Yeah, you're on video saying it.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country. No, I did not.
Yes, you.
Again, this is like what I said. You need to prepare yourself because you can't continue embarrassing yourself like this.
So I'm just a liar.
What I was quoting was an actual study done by the FBI.
Okay, thank you.
Just prepare next time.
All right, thank you, Congresswoman.
She said exactly what the young lady said she said. You know, I always try to put myself in these situations, right? Because I know the leftists come after you and they say crazy stuff to us too, and they make up lies. And I say, if somebody ran through some business deal that I did and they're walking through a hallway while I'm going somewhere to try to catch me, maybe I over communicate or something, because I felt like the questions are very easy to establish. It's like, I'm walking down the hall and you go, is the winery? Yeah, it's a real company. We didn't make any money. We lost money. It was a bad investment. We didn't do a good job. I thought I was gonna make a ton of money and I didn't. Like, how is that not a thing? I had a company, what is it called? Tatum Report, right? And we did good at first, and then I had to shut it down because it just, we had writers that we had to pay. It just wasn't yielding anything, man. It was like a charity. I didn't want to let my people go. I wanted to be loyal to them, and we were just losing money. And at some point I said, you know what? I don't have time to keep focusing on this. It's not really yielding anything. So I kind of put Tatum Report on the back burner. If somebody came to me and be like, Brandon, why did the Tatum Report did this? I'm like, no, it didn't work out, man. I thought it was going to be bigger than what it was. I'm paying people and I'm losing money. And I just backed away from it. It's really that simple. And, we might bring it back because I want to reinvigorate because I don't like to fail. So I don't want that to ever be a net failure. So when I start, I'm going to try to do the writing again, maybe hire some more writers because I think it's important. But until then, what's the weirdness about just saying what happened in your business? If I was worth $30 million, I'd say, I'm worth $30 million, baby. This is how I'm worth $30 million. Go look at the website, look at my portfolio. I'll be grinding. That's why I'm worth that. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, I never said that. Like when Piers Morgan thought he got me on that thing. I didn't say that. Yeah, I did say that. And here's why I said it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm tripping. But like these people are clearly liars and they deceitful. And that's why they always avoid the questions like they're trying to go somewhere. Like some of that stuff is very easy to debunk. Y'all setting up, if there's nothing there, you can just say it's nothing there. I'll stop and be like, do you know how this works? Do you know how it works? Explain to me how it works. Well, then if you don't know how it works, then why you ask me? Like, I push it back on them with real evidence. But anyway, I think that's all the story I want to talk about today. Love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you all for subscribing. Sorry that we've been kind of fickle on the post-show clarity because obviously Grant has been out. Grant, you better get your butt back to work. Nah, he's having a really good time with his family. So he's been out, so we've been kind of taking it. So we're going to do one a day for all the members. Joe is going to join me, and we're going to do a quick post-show clarity. And so for all the members, make sure you join. On Friday, rookies have access to post-show clarity. So just so you know, on Fridays you have access to Post Your Clarity. Therefore, you can see if you want to upgrade and have access to it all the time. All right, I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Hold the phone. We'll be back at Post Your Clarity.